Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Not Your Average Josh back here for another movie review, and today I'm here to review the new movie Plane, directed by Jean-Francois Richet. I believe that's how you say his name. I'm sorry if I butchered your name there, my man. And then you also, of course, have Gerard Butler starring in this movie, along with Mike Colter, who played Luke Cage. Really enjoyed him in that. Before I really get started in this review, I do want to say I appreciate anyone who's watching this right now. You can leave a like, leave a comment if you agree or disagree with my opinion on this movie. Subscribe also if you are watching this for the first time. I appreciate that very much as well. You can follow me on TikTok and add me on Snapchat, where I post similar content to this. But for the most part, my content will be here on this YouTube, Not Your Average Josh. So again, I appreciate anyone who is watching this right now and supporting my channel in any way. But let's get back into the movie Plane. A pilot finds himself caught in a war zone after he's forced to land his commercial aircraft during a terrible storm. That is really the short and skinny of it. I was going into this movie pretty intrigued, pretty interested. It seemed from the trailers like kind of a throwback 90s action thriller movie, and just kind of a lot of fun, not really much thought you have to put into the viewing experience. And I am very happy to say that is pretty much in short what this movie was. I really had a good time with this movie, really enjoyed myself. It did feel like a throwback 90s movie. Gerard Butler is just such a badass in this movie as Brody Torrance, the main character of this movie, the pilot of this airplane that is flying. It's just a commercial airplane that is flying with a bunch of passengers on it. And then, of course, some crazy shit goes down. You have a big storm that ensues, and the plane ends up going down in the Philippines somewhere where there's no government really regulating the area they're in. And so, of course, you're going to have these typical villainous characters, these people that live in the Philippines, these criminals that are selling drugs, guns, people, and all sorts of shit. They're just kind of playing really typical villains in this movie, which I kind of really enjoyed, honestly. It didn't have to be some abstract villain that has this really great plot or something. This is a perfect movie for just a simple generic villain, and I thought they did a good job playing their role in this movie. Not too over the top, but they were, that fun action movie of villains. Gerard Butler, just from the minute this movie starts, is such a badass. He really owns this movie, along with Mike Colter. You could tell he seemed like he was having a fun time with this movie. I really enjoyed the fact that it was rated R, so they could really go bloody on some of these scenes here, these kill scenes. Mike Colter, as I mentioned, I really enjoyed him in Luke Cage. That's really the main thing that I have seen him in that I can really think of right off the bat. I really enjoyed Mike Colter's character in this movie. He is this former military guy. For some reason, he's on this commercial airplane being transported. He's has a murder charge, and I'm not sure if he's being convicted yet, but of course, obviously, the plane goes down, and you have this back and forth with Brody Torrance and Mike Colter's character, Louis Gaspar, I believe that's how you say it. So Lewis and Brody kind of have this back and forth throughout where, of course, as soon as they crash, they know that this guy's being charged with murder, so Brody is really apprehensive at first with wanting to take the handcuffs off of Lewis, even though he could help. Obviously, he's a former military guy. Eventually, of course, in a predictable fashion, he does end up working with him, and they work together in helping these people with the criminals that are trying to mess with them while they're waiting for support and help. I just really loved his character. There was not a lot to him, but he's just kind of a badass, a lot like Gerard Butler in this movie. I really like the journey that his character ends up going on in the end of the movie. I didn't really necessarily expect what would happen, but really thinking about it was fairly predictable. They end up taking the handcuffs off him, and he really has a choice. He could just run or just try and hurt a bunch of these people. And you don't really know. He says he's innocent, but there's never really any proof in the movie if he is innocent. He wasn't in the military. He could have actually committed this murder he's being charged for. And I really liked how his character ends up just staying and pretty much helping these guys throughout the whole event. And really, to the end, he was helping out all these people that he didn't know. I think it probably leaves you to interpret that he probably didn't commit the murder that he's being accused of. All the side characters, all the people on the plane, there was really no, not too many annoying characters. You had your typical characters in the situation like this. In the movie about this situation, you have the person that's very skeptical of Gerard Butler's character, Brody. You have a couple characters like that who are like, no, are we sure we're doing the right thing? You have those type of guys. And then you just have kind of the general rest of the people that are just kind of regular people just trying to survive this situation. And I thought they were all no one was too annoying in this movie. I did like also in particular the co-pilot that was with Gerard Butler's character Brody. Yosan An, I believe is his name. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. I thought he did a really good job in this movie. He doesn't have too much screen time like compared to Gerard Butler and Mike Coulter, but all the scenes he was in, I thought he did a really good job. And I don't know, I just really liked his character. Again, this is a movie where you don't have to. There's not a lot of thought that really needs to go into this movie. This is just a fun action movie, just a fun time at the theater. The violence, it wasn't too overly grotesque or anything, and there does end up developing a little subplot inside the movie with the criminals, and you start to figure out a little information about how many people they may have kidnapped before from planes that have gone down, and that was all fun and well. But in the end, like I said, this is just a fun movie, and if you enjoy movies like this, I think you're just gonna have a blast with this. If you're looking for more story development and things of that nature, it may not be the best movie for you. It is sort of a throwback in that way. I just really appreciated it for that. There is, like I said, some mixed aspects of this movie for me. There's some things in this movie that is pretty illogical. Just story development that happens, story elements that happens in this movie where you're like, okay, that wouldn't happen in real life. I saw one thing I actually was looking up where someone said, there's a moment when the storm is all going down, when the plane is still in the air near the beginning of the movie, before the plane has crashed, where Brody goes to the pilot, Gerard Butler's character, goes throughout the plane while it's being flown by the co-pilot to check on all the passengers, make sure they're doing all right. And I think someone mentioned that in this post 9/11 era, that I guess the cockpit is sealed shut, so that wouldn't happen. So there's like little stuff like that some people are going to pick up on, and some more obvious ones that everyone's going to pick up on. But like I said, honestly, it didn't affect my viewing experience that much. It obviously makes it to where it's not a great movie, but I think it's good at what it's trying to accomplish. I say that a lot with movies, and it can come off as kind of generic, but this movie is trying to accomplish a certain thing, and I think it does that, just being a fun action thriller with moments. There's enough story elements in there to keep you engaged enough in that aspect of the movie, but they also have some scenes where they go back to the headquarters of the airline in New York, and then you have Paul Ben Victor as this guy named Hampton. You have Tony Goldwyn as this guy named Scarsdale, and they're kind of the people working butting heads at times, but working to try and find the airline and send a rescue team in there. And they end up sending this rescue team into this part of the Philippines because they couldn't have the government help, because it's all this kind of typical story elements, like I said, that you would see in an action movie like this. That is my main thoughts on this movie. I would recommend this movie overall. I enjoyed it. I had a good time. I wouldn't say you have to rush out to the theaters to see this or anything like that. You can wait for it to come out on streaming. It's not a must. It wasn't an amazing theater experience or anything like that, but I did have a good time with it. I'm going to give Plane a 7 out of 10. Great seeing Gerard Butler in a good movie, and also Mike Coulter, man. I really want to see him in more stuff. He did a really good job in this movie, honestly. Like even some of the just smaller moments, the just acting moments where he's just talking with Gerard Butler's character, Brody. Really good performance overall in this movie. Like, just really well done, man. That'll be it for now. As I said in the beginning, if you want to support this channel, leave a like, comment if you agree or disagree. What do you think about this movie? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Subscribe to this channel if you also want to support, if this is the first time watching this. I appreciate all the support I do get. You can also follow me on TikTok, add me on Snapchat, where I post content similar to this. But for the most part, my content will be here on this YouTube channel, Not Your Average Josh. So again, I do appreciate all the support I do get. Be looking for more videos very soon, and I will talk to you guys later.